pizza for tomorrow. I know.
All right, Christian. It's Jake Bennington. We're gonna go live.
Oh, we could also talk about just like, I don't know, overcoming hardships over the summer. I can talk about that all day because
your story, dude.
Just the Crohn's and then getting robbed last year and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot there.
Yeah, for sure. We're going live. All right. I think we're live. I think this is a thing now. We're here in, where are we?
Not Grand Rapids.
Rapid City, South Dakota.
Been go-karting all day.
It's where you go-kart. It's where you
That's
hills.
it. You
run up
go-kart.
and go. No, everybody Harleys here. It's like the Harley Davidson of the world. Anyway.
Yeah, and race car. Like legit race car.
Rapids. They're rapid. Rap.
Any rapid motion.
Rapido.
Any rapido motion.
Go rapido.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to go Facebook Live. We're going to podcast this. So if you're watching this, we're live from South Dakota in a nice cottage with a rope swing.
Yeah, we do have our own rope swing.
We have our own,
rope swing.
And a lot of you probably are wondering what the heck is Jake and Sam doing in South Dakota.
It's none of your business.
It's none of your business.
Don't ever ask it.
And anyway, so we're going podcast mode because you guys are probably bored. So before you know this, if you like Jake, first give him a thumbs up. And if you know Jake, give him then a thumbs down because that's a terrible thing. I feel bad for you.
Yeah.
So here we go, podcast mode.
Hey.
Hi everybody, my name's Sam Taggart, and this is the D2D podcast. We are live coming at you from, what is it, Grand Rapids?
Dude, come on, seriously?
Rapid City.
That wasn't real.
Rapido. Yeah, no, for real. I almost went Grand Rapids again.
10 seconds after
we jumped about. Rapid City, South Dakota. Never been to South Dakota. Tomorrow we're waking up at what time? 6?
I don't know. We haven't really even looked.
Yeah, we can map this out. We are going to Mount Rushmore together on a rushing jam, being Circle Brothers. Not how you think. I'm just kidding. No, so yes. We are live. Anyway, so we
take that one back. Okay.
So we are in the expert circle together. So we're going to Lake Powell in September, and we do some cool stuff. And anyway, we are out here. We're with the company, but what was I going to say? Oh, so Jake. Let me tell you about Jake.
I love that this is the start to mine. Yes. I love that. That's great.
There's some that are really good, and we can already tell it's 11-something o'clock at night, so this one's definitely going to go.
If you're watching this live, kudos for you.
Don't go to bed, because this is going to be one of the most interesting. No, but if you're listening, Jake has 8 years in the experience in pest control. He manages several hundred plus people. He's going to do 10,000 accounts in pest control, active phenomenon. And anyway, some cool stuff though. Like we're talking about, he's gone through some physical and emotional just craziness in this job, which I think is a fair story. You know, we're in Mexico at the DD Circle, and Jake literally puked maybe 10 times a day.
Okay, no, not that much, but
no, fair amount. You know what I mean?
3 to 4. Yeah.
Puking, like
puking.
How much weight did you lose?
Through the whole thing, or in Mexico?
Whole thing.
Yeah. Well, because
so he has Crohn's disease. He just got diagnosed with Crohn's disease, but it was like what, 6 months? How long was it like that you were going through hell?
So I had a flare up that just knocked me on my butt, and that was for 5 months. I mean, I still have a little bit of lingering, stuff from that, but full blown like 5 months.
You couldn't even function.
No, I barely made it. I barely made it to that trip.
Yeah, the fact that he's literally in bed 50% of the time, kind of like, I'm a trooper, I'm here. He's like, Sam, you really haven't seen the fun side of me. So then he's like trying to win me over, so he gets up and does some karaoke. So
I had to make it
he's like, I about passed out and fell over the whole time.
Yeah, I was like, I'm all talk right now. I think I'm all talk, so.
So I was impressed with his karaoke skills, of course. But anyway, so we're going to jam on going through hard stuff. Like, going through that and still having to manage 100 plus people and be a top performer and sell lights out, and then thriving in all essence of the business. Like, I think that oftentimes we don't really thrive. Like, we survive. And it's so funny. Today we kind of jammed on that with these guys. And it's like the thriving aspect is so different than I've got food, I've got a shelter, my needs are met. But that doesn't mean you're really thriving in life. So anyway, if you're interested in learning how to freaking thrive, stay tuned. Here we go. So tell us a little bit about how you thrive. No, let's rewind. That's a terrible first question. So, hardest things you've done in door-to-door. Let's jam on that for a second.
That's a good place to start.
That's a good place. Because, it wasn't always easy for you, right? You weren't the kid that was like, out the gates, do your 500 first year.
No, not 500 first year. I did 250 my first year.
Stud. If you're not 250, 250 is the new 100.
2.5 times better. No, I mean that it was a really great summer, and I was really motivated because adaptive. That's the bare minimum you need to do for management.
Okay.
And so I was hell bent on making that happen my first year, and something that I can say is no, I didn't sell 500. I didn't break the rookie record. I've never had a bagel day though. I don't know what that's like.
You've never had a bagel day?
I've never bageled. Now that being said,
he went out today and didn't even bagel. He's never done roofs.
Technically true.
Yes, technically true.
Yeah, learning roofs. But, that's great and all to say. But in reality, I'd rather be like, Brigham Lindsay, I know he's had some bagel days, in there somewhere. But the dude sells 1,200. I'd way rather have that cool thing to say than saying, hey, I've never bageled, which is anyways. And so... yeah, I did well my first year, but not insane level. And then ever since then, it's just been an improvement every year. It's been growth. But that's what's funny is, and I was just telling my teams about this. What is hard about this job is always hard about this job. And, one of the guys, Brenner, said, if you don't look for comfort in this job, you won't find it here.
Ooh, nugget.
Yeah, well, that's Brenner down, so that's his nugget. But embrace the struggle, embrace the challenge, and I love that. And so this job, you're presented with that continuously. I mean, non-stop. This job hits you financially at times. This job hits you, in the gut emotionally. Hits you with your family. Hits you with your psychology. Your mental ability. It nails you in every single way. But people don't rebound in all those ways. They the consistent thing is people try to rebound financially. That's always the priority above everything else.
Yeah.
Is to make sure that's clicking. But they neglect other parts of, what it means to thrive. What it means to thrive is to exceed vigorously is what the definition says. And there's it depends on what definition you're looking at on the internet, but I think it's the Merriam-Webster one. But it says there's 3 different definitions, and the last one says something to the effect of to succeed despite or because of challenges. And I think it's, they didn't even mean to, but they dropped a nugget in there, because whenever we think about overcoming...
One more time, despite or because of challenges.
Yeah. And
I think a lot of people might brush over that.
Exactly.
So keep going, sorry.
Yeah, no, so it's the because of. Because we're always so focused on, man, it was raining today, but I still went out and worked and still got some sales. Or man, I wasn't feeling that great and I still went out and worked and this happened and I'm proud of that. So it's always despite the challenge, I still succeeded. But it's it's an elevated mentality to look at, okay, I succeeded because of my challenges. You need challenge. You need things to be hard. You need things to rock you. And it's because of those things and your ability to see the growth, to get through, to get thicker skin, a thicker hide, and to evolve as a person. It's the concept of the happiness advantage, in that book. I just finished reading that. I finally read it for the first time.
Such a classic.
It's such a classic that I have never read, but I paid my dues and I read it.
It's good.
And it talks about bouncing forward. It's the exact same principle. Whenever people talk about bouncing back from something, they're always saying, okay, well, this thing happened, but way to bounce back. Like the Warriors almost bounced back. Thank goodness they didn't. Go Raptors.
That was close.
They did it. That was way close. But they say, hey man, way to bounce back. Hey, I know what happened. I'm sorry about that. Way to bounce back.
Yeah.
But that's saying you get back to where you started from. So there's no growth. So you want to bounce forward. You don't want to bounce back and arrive right back at where you were with no benefit. You want to get knocked down, come back, and then more. You want to bounce forward, not bounce back. So that's all part of the thriving mentality. So anyway, things that have happened. I mean, everyone has stuff happen. I don't want to just like go through all the things that have been hard, but they've taught me all different things, And I could say, let's see, 3 years ago? I think it was 3 years ago now. A lot of people, that I work with Adaptive know this one because it makes everyone sick to their stomach. So, but I was out, so I bought a house, or we're going to build a house, right? And I was so excited about that. And now I'm on the line for a ton of money to do this house. And also I need to have a down payment ready, by a certain date. And all this kind of stuff's going on. So I go out to go sell and lead a team that summer. And on the way to Houston, Texas, we stopped in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Which, I'm sorry if you're from there, but screw that place. It is the worst.
It is. No comment.
Okay, well, I don't have to stay neutral here. That place is the worst.
It could be better than Old Mexico's.
We parked at a hotel, and I went out in the morning to go walk my dogs, and we had been broken into. I don't even think I've told you this story.
No, I never. But I'm interested.
Yeah, so they shattered the back windshield to my wife's brand new Jeep Grand Cherokee.
Oh wow!
Shattered the whole thing, and took our entire life out of it. We had that thing filled roof to window to window.
Because it was literally you're going to the summer, like you're.
Well, not only that, but we moved out of our place to get it rented because we were building a new home. So we had everything. I mean, some stuff was in storage, but so they took my laptop, they took 2 iPads, they took my Apple Watch, 2 GoPros, they took my wife's wedding ring, they took...
Why did she have her wedding ring off?
Well, because when she's driving, she doesn't like to wear it, and so she had it in the cup holder.
Well, that's dangerous. that's a terrible habit to create.
Yeah, and when I tell
don't tell your wife. Is that like the common thing most guys say? Why do you let your wife put a wedding ring in the cup holder?
No, I know.
Okay, anyway,
don't worry. Going. When I tell this story, you're going to think that I'm a complete idiot, and that's fine.
No, okay.
I've accepted how stupid... No, just wait.
Well,
it gets stupider. Okay. It gets a lot stupider. So they took all of our clothes. They took these shoes I had created. All this stuff was taken, okay? But the real bad one was what we call black box. And it was just that, a black box. And it had all of our important documents in it because we had moved out. And we wanted it to be with us and not at some place at home in Utah. So it had our social security cards. It had both our birth certificates. It had our marriage certificate. It had our passports. It had our banking information. It had all the way down to my dog's vaccination records were in this thing. And it was just yanked right out of the back of that car in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So we were feeling pretty vulnerable. And I don't know if you've ever been broken into or been robbed, but it feels like you've been violated.
Oh,
it is a personal feeling.
When it's the 4th time in the probably a month and a half span in your home, you start putting signs that are like, we don't have anything left. Just like, come when we're here and see what happens. And then you start putting pictures of Jesus on the windows. And you're like, he's watching. Like, I've been there, dude.
Yeah, go where you can.
Yes.
Like, so you understand.
I understand.
You feel violated. And I had to be on the doors the next day. The next day I was supposed to get to Houston, get all worked in and be on the doors. And so now I'm thinking, oh my gosh, my whole identity, there's probably 35 Jake Benningtons walking around Albuquerque,
driving their Ferraris and Chargers.
Yeah, like little did they know they hit the jackpot with us, royal flush with anything that they could have taken. So that was hard. That was hard to start a summer that way. That was right at the beginning, was to start like that. And I'm feeling like my bank account's going to be compromised. There goes the house. There goes all of our money, all in one, and our identities, our credit
It was Kyle Nelson pulling a prank.
I'm just kidding. Just praying. Yeah.
It'd be a dumb prank.
But no. Anyways, so that was hard to start a summer like that. Everyone knows that it's hard to, your mentality right at the beginning of the summer is huge. How you start is really important. And that momentum, how locked in you are, how dialed in and committed to what you're going to do and how you're going to do it is really, really important. And to start like totally having the rug pulled out from underneath us and us to scramble with like protecting our literal identities was tough. But man, I can tell you I learned a lot through pushing through that. And my wife was pregnant at the time. And we had both our dogs with us as well.
You didn't take the dogs?
They didn't take, no, because they were in the hotel with me.
Oh, okay.
And just a side note, if anyone's interested, I went out to take them to the bathroom at like 1:30 a.m. We looked at the cameras in the hotel. They were there at like 1:50 a.m.
The chances of that.
I missed them by 20 minutes. Yeah.
Oh.
Which is wild. Anyways. So, you know, there's things like that will happen. And that's the thing, guys, is like...
How do we bounce forward?
Yeah, like stuff's always going to happen. Like, it's not going to be this smooth. Life isn't like that.
Yeah.
And what I've been telling my teams a lot recently is, this is my mantra. It's been for years and years and years. I'm sure you've heard it before, but life is not about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain, you know? And there's so many times,
Nugget.
you know, day to day in the job where you're like, oh, this thing's hard. I'm not feeling really good on this. I'm in a bad mood. Let me wait for this storm to pass.
Yeah.
This little storm, you know? Before I throw myself all the way back into it, let the dust settle. I want the weather to be a little bit better, and then I'll go into it. Or, you know, some big choice in their life.
Yeah.
School or this job, whatever. But it's not, you can't do that. Like, there's always going to be a storm. And so to thrive, you can't wait. That's not thriving. You cannot wait to succeed and go for it and throw yourself all in. You have to learn to dance in the rain. You have to learn to enjoy it. Yeah, and I definitely had to.
I think a lot of people are always looking for the storm of door to door to pass. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, when I'm a third year veteran, I'm going to just be on autopilot and make $100,000 or whatever, you know what I mean? And it's like, no, like we still, like after 10 years and 12 years or 15 years, it's the same. Sometimes it gets harder in some ways because you almost are like, wow, another year, you know, here we go. Yeah. And, you know, and sometimes there's certain aspects that do get easier, 100%. So if you're like, it doesn't get easier than this, like, there's definitely certain aspects that gets easier.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people just don't realize, like you said, it's how do you dance in the rain in this? And I think the people that learn how to dance in the rain, they tend to love door to door, and they find a niche for it. They find a kind of I could do this for a while, and I can make a career out of this, and even though it's raining, and the benefits of dancing in the rain and owning it is what thriving is. I love that. I love the term, you know, despite or because of hardship. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, be a because of rep.
So then you get Crohn's disease. Where does that kind of throw you off for the rocker?
Are you sure it's Crohn's disease?
MLS or whatever
Sam doesn't know what's wrong with me. He pretends to care. No,
I'm like, so how you doing with that meniscus thing or whatever? Same thing.
Yeah, same thing.
I knew it had an M in it, you know, Crohn's disease.
So, yeah, I was actually originally diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, and that's the tougher name that maybe you were thinking of.
Oh, I would have definitely.
I know, I was holding back on that.
Yeah.
I knew we were going to talk about it.
I knew I had some weird title.
Yeah. So, I actually had my first flare-up my first year.
Ulcer, meaning like butthole thing? Like an ulcer? I don't even know what that is.
An ulcer is an ulcer.
What's an ulcer? I'm thinking of a
Golly.
hemorrhoid. You
dropped out of med school? Really?
No.
I don't see it. I don't know why.
Dude, I never took anatomy, man. I never... What is an ulcer?
Ulcerative colitis just means that you
in.
have like a lot of ulcers in your colon or a similar area.
Okay.
Yeah, so colon is the butthole-ish word you're looking for. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
It's not the butthole, but anyways.
Up there.
Yeah. Wow, this is incredible.
You're listening to this.
This is professional.
You're welcome.
Enjoy it. You're learning something today.
You're learning.
Ulcerative colitis, you see? And I had my first flare-up my first year team leading, actually. And we didn't know what it was at that time. And so my vision would cut out. I was driving one day and my vision just cut out. Like this whole portion of my vision was just gone. I had to I honked as hard as I could. and slowed way down and just like drifted to the side of the road.
Oh, like
then,
straight up, like
parked.
almost blind. You're like, I'm driving almost blind.
You know when like you see stars or something like that. It was that my whole bottom right half of my vision. It was just gone like out of nowhere. And so they actually don't even know why that happens, but it's related to when I have a flare up. My vision just goes in and out. And so, anyways, I've been battling with that through all of my summer sales career. So ever since, that was after my first year team lead.
So you have an episode. How often are these episodes?
I'll have smaller ones that, are more mild. My vision goes out, I'd say once every month and a half, somewhere in there. And there's no warning. It just happens.
It's come. It's happening.
Yeah.
I'm having an episode.
That's exactly what happens. I'm just standing there talking to someone. I'm like, okay, half of you is gone. So we're just going to keep going. Like, I can see what's going on right now.
Let's pretend.
Let's pretend with me. Yeah.
Have you, puked on a door? Have you pooped your pants at all?
This is dumb. No, I haven't. I have peed myself, which has nothing to do with anything that's wrong with me.
Okay.
I just have a small bladder, so I peed my pants on the doors.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I'm glad that everyone knows this.
I'm glad that we're on the D2D podcast talking about this.
This is legit.
No, but it's the point. You chose the topic. We're talking about hard shiz, what I mean?
Let's do it.
And this is what's funny is because a lot of people think like, oh, Jake Bennington, oh, this guy, you know what I mean? And it's like, no, that's embarrassing. I peed my pants.
Well, because, and you even said something to me one time that I've believed, but I didn't realize how much I believed it until you put it in words, which is, we're on a call one time and you said, the people with the most influence in a room are the most authentic.
Yeah.
And the most genuine and sincere. But really the word you meant is, is authentic is one you said. And I've always believed that, but I haven't always lived it in certain ways. And so, in the industry, there's such an expectation for anyone who is a manager, especially, to just be this incredible example. In every way, shape, and form, they strive for perfection. In a lot of ways, it's really important, and that's great. But when it comes to being vulnerable and showing that you do have weakness and that you do have things that you battle and overcome, that's important for your guys to see. And it's so critical because if someone wants to aspire and say, I want to be like Jake, or for me, I wanted to be like Kyle Nielsen, my manager, the guy who was with me the whole time.
Shout out.
Much love. It was hard sometimes to think, how can I ever be like Kyle, or how can someone be like me or like you if you seem not to have the same weaknesses or struggles that I do? That's just Sam. Like, Sam's over here, I'm over here with a lot of other people. Jake's over here, Kyle's over here, whoever, right? And so they don't strive and don't feel like you can relate. They can't relate to you. And so when you're able to say, hey, I struggle with this is hard for me. Guys, this thing that's hard for all of you is still hard for me. I struggle with that every day, then you're able to relate a lot more. Yeah. And so with ulcerative colitis and all the other things, and like my wife and I struggling with infertility for years, and that being such a hard thing for us. Years of tests and heartbreak and tears and shots and pills and this thing and other things, I hid those things. I really did. Because I was just obsessed with this idea of,
it's like, I'm broken, or I'm like, if I tell them, maybe they're going to look at me as like lesser of a man, like, is that kind of what was,
not that I'm broken, like, I don't care about that. It was just like, how do I be the most stud example that I can be and have nothing ruin that image?
And that's a mark on the image, potentially.
Exactly.
It's what our perception of it is.
Right.
And how often are we actually ineffectively leading because we want to put off the persona as if we had no marks.
Yeah.
When it's like, no, hello, I have marks just like you do. It's what I bounce forward with those marks.
Yeah.
How do I respond to the marks? It's what I do about it is what makes me different. It's not that we're the same. It's just I've taken a little bit more harder action in some difficult moments. Or my storm is different flavor than your storm. Mm-hmm. I'm dancing in the rain, dude.
Yeah.
Come dance with me.
Yeah.
It's not like you're in the storm and I'm over here with rainbows.
Right.
And people want to see that. That's a leadership principle that I'm very passionate about. That's like where I'm like, you think like what I do is all rainbows. Everybody's like, "Oh, Sam Tiger." I'm like, "Dude, I'm effing."
He's always so happy.
Yeah, I'm like,
his life must be so great.
Yeah, go try to travel into 40 states this 12 months and all these. You know what I mean? Like, and live a life and balanced and. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard. Like, there are times where your wife is like, what the hell? What are you doing? You know what I mean? I need you. And it's like, I would love to be home right now. Yeah. You know? And I think it's just being open about that. So, like, yeah, no, everything's great, man. We're crushing it. Like, it's like, no, this is business. Business isn't just a rainbow. It's freaking in the storm and you're dancing in it. Yeah. And I love that. I've never heard that quote. You're like, oh, I've just heard this quote. I'm over here like, oh.
Okay, yeah, no, yeah.
Sure. Yeah, oh yeah, I heard that one.
Right.
I read too. Yeah. No, but anyway, so what would you say is a way to help people thrive in this? So think about it like, you know, from all equities of the life, right? Like, you know, I think a lot of people struggle. Maybe they are thriving in the business side of things, but they struggle. And I'm not saying I'm perfect, nor are you, but I'm saying, do you have any kind of hacks or things that you're like, hey, this would be my 2 cents on thriving outside of work?
Well, you know, the universal rule is always to be grateful and always to, you know, not take things for granted. But so to go back to the Crohn's thing actually for a second, I mean,
we didn't finish this.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it goes with that. Is that, you know, I had this recent flare up, and it was so awful that it was so much worse than any other one I've ever had. All of them combined, it was worse, and I lost 50 pounds. You know, I mean, thankfully, I had a dad bod, you know, a pretty decent one, and so I had the weight to lose. But after a certain while, I didn't. And I was in like high school, like cutting weight for wrestling days. I got down to 136, you know, and that's crazy. It's craziness. And so, but with that, I was bedridden for 3 weeks. My wife is bringing my food to me. She's helping me out of bed to go, you know, have diarrhea for 4 months in the bathroom and walk me back to my bed. It was awful.
I remember a call where you did it's coming out both sides. Give it a sec.
Do you know what a double dragon is?
Yeah.
Because I had 4 double dragons in Mexico alone. So it's not a good time. But my point with all that is saying, you know, I had taken even my dad bod for granted. And I was way out of shape and all that kind of stuff. But I still had so much more health than so many more people in the world. And yeah, I was squandering it. And I definitely didn't appreciate it. And so when I was now bedridden, and I had lost all this weight, and I had no energy to play with my daughter, you know, and even like entertain her or anything at all. I had this moment where I was like, I'd give anything just to be right back where I was. And so when health finally started to come back, no thanks to a silent fast in Mexico. That was a joke.
We stuck him in the jungle.
Yeah.
He survived.
Literally dropped me off in the chair in the jungle at the height of this sickness. But, you know, when the health started to come back, I had like this renewed fire to, you know, make sure that I took care of my health better than I had, and to work out and to treat it right, and everything like that. And so sometimes there's a difference between being humble and being humbled, right? I mean, clearly everyone knows about that too. You know, the life pursuit is to be humble. That is the life pursuit, and that is a noble one. You don't want to have to be humbled. You don't want to have to be broken down by an ailment, by a tragedy, by a situation. You want to be proactively humble, which means you need to be grateful.
Which, on that note, something that was interesting on one of our calls that stood out to me, that you're like, yeah, I'm at the gym. I'm trying to get back into shape and bounce forward, right?
Yeah. And
tell them kind of your experience, you know, just kind of this whole embarrassing, humble, you know, kind of.
That's an understatement.
Yeah, like tell them about that.
Yeah, for all the muscles that are listening, because summer sales and muscles seem to go hand in hand, or the gym anyhow. I help coach high school wrestling, and so you know, typically in season I'm in shape and I'm strong and all that kind of stuff. But I had been so withered down by my sickness that when I got out to the summer, which having faith is a lot part. I'm not saying necessarily in religion or anything, but in something, because I drove out to Orange County, California this summer terrified, like shaking in my boots, terrified, because my sickness was in no way resolved.
Yeah.
You know, and I was in terrible, terrible pain. Crohn's disease, when you have a flare-up, it feels like someone is stabbing you in the stomach. Oh. And it is so painful, and it just doesn't stop, that you have to just lay there. You can't talk, you can't look at anybody, you can't do anything. And then you have this horrible diarrhea, and you can't eat a single thing, and you throw everything up. And so I was heading out for a summer like that.
That was just a knock. You know, it's like, oh, I can't just find a bush and poo 4 times today. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, which I did. I did poop in Central Park in a bush. That did happen. That's a story for another day. I don't know why we've been focused around this
great. Yes,
the back end of things. So much. Anyways, so that was another time I started a summer in like the worst way ever. You know. And so the point is, I got to Orange County, and I was like, okay, like I feel like crap, but I need to start like making some effort and progress here, one way or another. And so I got to the gym, and since the beginning of the summer till now, I've missed 3 days, which I'm really proud of that. But because I'm not a morning person, but I'm becoming one. But going to the gym, I'm going with my wife, and I'm like, okay, here we go. Let's go to the gym. Let's get back into this. And I can't even bench the bar. And that moment brought actual tears to my eyes, because it's one thing to see your body shrink down, and it's one thing to feel it, but it's another thing to be like, wow, you know, try and do an exercise that used to be a breeze, and I can't even lift the bar. And it was an assisted bar, you know? It was an assisted bar. And I literally could not even bench that 8 times. My wife had to finish the set for me. And that was humbling. I came off that, but there's just, you know, tears in my eyes, and I cannot believe how far I've lost everything. You know, this is my health. This is my literal body. Like, all my clothes are falling off of me. And so that was it was discouraging for a second. It was like, how do I come back from this? I can't even bench the bar. It is such a joke. But it was just, you know what? Like, it's the right thing. It's the right thing for my body. And if I'm going to be grateful for the progress I've made so far, then you got to pursue it. And that's where a lot of people stop, is they see some progress and they start to come back from something, from some affliction or some tragedy or some hardship, and then they turn their back on, you know, that progress, and they stop sticking to it or whatever. So I was like, I got to see this thing through. If I really was grateful, well, let's put my money where my mouth is and keep going. So since then, I've added 90 pounds to my bench. And so that's taken like so much like patience and dedication to that. But anyways, to answer your question.
But to increase by 90 pounds.
I mean, okay, it's not actually saying like, oh, I'm strong now. It's just mainly saying how weak I was.
No, but it's still like, it's incremental increase. It's not just like a boom, I got 90 pounds more strength. Like, it's got to just take, like, okay, let's bench the bar 10 times. Now let's add 10 pounds on it.
Oh, I had to start with just 2.5 pounds on each side. I felt there are other people in the gym looking over. I'm just like,
is he faking this? Like,
yeah. They're like, what? And they see me like shaking on, rep 8.
Oh, that'll go viral, funny video.
Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy. So I think we've run out of time. So, but I want to bring this home to. Yeah. I think a lot of times people don't really get humbled, yet they never are humble, and they maybe do this job out of ego, and they never fully hit their potential, but they never really fully hit the bottom, and they just kind of stay in this like middle ground of like just the pack, like they're in the pack. But I think it's like oftentimes when you can really humble yourself and find these moments of difficulty and look at them as the gift and say, what's the gift and how am I progressing and how am I bouncing forward? How is that breaking me down to make me a stronger person? Is when you can do that, that's when these top performers like you and others I've noticed have really thrived. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's they allow the breakdown to bounce them forward. They allow the humbling moments to say, what an awesome learning opportunity to move forward. Yeah. Like one of the coaching clients, Cody, he had an interesting situation in his office, and he was like, I don't even know what to do. Like, it was like an absurd, one of those like random one-offs. You're just like, holy cow, I've never even heard of that. And I was like, what a cool opportunity for you to practice leadership. You know what I mean? Yeah. And he was like, wow, I guess I never looked at it that way. Like, most people never even would have had that opportunity of a crap situation where, you know, one random one-off you'd never think about. Mm-hmm. And now you get to deal with that. And he was like, oh, I get to deal with that. Yep.
Yeah.
And he started to wrap his head around it, and I'm like,
that's the thrive mentality.
That's the thrive mentality. You get to deal with that.
Yeah.
Like, how cool. You get to deal with Crohn's disease, and guess what? You're going to speak at Door Con, or you're going to have this party. Like, you get to inspire people through saying, I now can not only bench the bar, I can put 45 plates on there. And, you know, I know, but it's like, I'm moving on knowing that I could be pooping or throwing up on any doorstep and lose my vision and pass out. Yet I'm still out there saying, let's go.
Yeah.
Yet everyone else is like, what's your excuse? And you're not even knocking. Like, you're just, I can't even get you to go out and knock, and you have nothing wrong with you.
Yeah.
Yet they're in the pack. They're just floating.
Yeah.
But they never had those serious moments that helped them bounce forward, which I think is so interesting around top performers and this peak performance that I'm studying through the podcast. You know what I mean?
Well, and that's why, you know, when you talk to all these people on your podcast, or all the really cool people that you get to meet, I mean, there's there has to be
a pattern. That's why I'm saying that's why I'm connecting all these dots, because it's not like I look through my past, it's like I broke my ankle midsummer. This summer I was number 1, break my ankle. To any other rep, it's like, oh, fetch, I'm going to get passed up with all the people on my tail because I got to take 6 weeks off. Mm-hmm. I'm like, sweet, I got to knock on crutches.
Yeah.
And I 3-3 that same day.
Where you changed your story from, well, everyone's been, not everyone, but there are a lot of people who can say I was the number 1 rep in my company this year. But you're the only one that can say,
I did it with a broken ankle for 6 weeks.
And I thrived because of.
Yeah, because of.
Right.
And it's like, maybe that's why. Maybe it was the chip on the shoulder that made me want to work harder. I don't know, but I look at, like, that's just one little moment or one opportunity I could share, that it's like, not everybody breaks their ankle and freaking bounces forward from it.
What'd you do anyway?
Ultimate Frisbee. Sports day, baby.
Oh, wow.
No, but I mean, dude, that's the point. Like, I think if you're listening to this, hopefully you're looking at this as like, oh, like, I can thrive and I can play in the rain and I can probably step up and change my story. Yeah. It's change your story.
Yeah, yeah. You what I always say is move or be moved. Like, life will pass you by, and literally, you know, the storm, if you're waiting for it to pass by, like, move or be moved. Like, life, it's not neutral. There's nothing neutral about life. It's going to pass you right on by, or you're going to get out in front, you know, ahead of it. But when it comes to thriving, you know, you got to think, people are so hell-bent on making sales, money. But everyone knows that eventually money fails you. Like, that's not enough motivation. It's a hard enough day. Things have kind of stacked on top of each other. You had 2 jerks in a row on the door. You know, someone's calling you, your family's in the hospital. You have all these things going on, and suddenly you're like, I've made good money. Yeah. That's a conversation. I've made good money. Like, today,
I survive.
I can chill.
I'm surviving.
I can coast a little bit here. But to thrive is to have a higher purpose. It's an evolved mindset. It's that continuous search of, like, how do I shed my skin like a snake? Yes. You know? Like, how do I shed that and come out glistening and, you know, healthier and fresher than ever? You know, let's leave this past me behind. And so on those days when you know that, who do I want to be when the summer's over? Who do I want to be long term? You know, where do I want my spirituality or zenness to be at? Where do I want my psychology and mentality to be at? Where do you want all these things to be at? And if you can thrive and succeed in all of those, that's when you thrive. To me, saying thrive is not, you cannot succeed in one thing and thrive. That's not, to me, the definition of thriving. You're succeeding. But if you neglect all the other aspects of what make you human,
spiritual, emotional, relationships, spirituality, you know what I mean? I think a lot of people, especially in the summer, just let that go.
Yeah? Oh, no, for sure.
It's crazy.
They neglect parts of themselves that would actually feed right back into their success.
Yeah, and it's like you're going, and maybe you're succeeding, but I wouldn't call it thriving.
Right.
So, anyway, let's end on that. Like, I I think a lot of people should go home and put some soul search. Write down, like, here's your challenge, people. Write down a few things of scale 1 to 10, am I thriving in this? And if it's less than a 10, what are the things I can identify to change? What things do I need to let go? What stories do I need to change? What habits do I need to create? What time efficiencies do I need to better to thrive? And I think those are a few of the questions you could ask yourself walking out of here. It sounds like we just got shot by the GoPro. But yeah, I think that's what that's your homework. So anyway, do you have anything else you want to share or add to that? If not, like,
I think we've all met somebody who we view as clicking on all cylinders.
Clicking, yes.
You know? And I think that's the ultimate goal. And so I'm just saying, you're stepping over a dollar and picking up a penny if all your focus on this industry is sell. If you don't have a vision of how it's all coming together to make you, better, then you're selling yourself short. That's a whole wing of motivation that you're not giving yourself. And your reps. This is really big for your reps.
Yeah.
For guys who can go out and crush it and sell lights out, like you say, it's important. It's not as prevalent immediately, but with rookie reps, you get all that working together, and that's concert.
Love it. Music to my ears.
Hey,
thanks, Jake Bennington. You heard it first. We'll be seeing much more of Jake, by the way. And much love. Share this. Give him some love. Let us know your thoughts. Comment below.
Hit that like.
Or a
hit
heart.
That share.
Or a frowny face. One of those.
There's a reason, aren't those?
We love you guys.
Share it up.
Much love.